Now at 9 o'clock, a dangerous drive. A car sparks this fire after slamming into a Worcester home. The driver is now in police custody.
Crews working into the night to contain a fast-moving fire in Lynn. What neighbors say may have sparked the flames.
Also, not backing down. President Trump rallying against Democrats in South Carolina. Why still pushing for zero tolerance at the border.
And thousands forced to leave their California homes as major wildfires move dangerously close.
This is 7 News Today in New England.
9 o'clock. Good morning, New England. Live look. This is Dorchester Bay as we're starting off our Tuesday with lots of sunshine, and we're going to need it because it was a little chilly this morning and it warmed things right up just like that.
Yeah, I feel
No
like that shot there was a special treat for us because it was just a beautiful shot, Chris. Hopefully this is just a beginning of what's to come.
A little tough to stay inside when you see a picture like that and head out and get to work, but we must do it. And if you have beach plans this weekend, no worries. It's not going to be like this past weekend where we have a lot of clouds in place and occasional showers. We are talking about full-on warmth and humidity that will be building in for next weekend. Upper 60s right now in the city of Boston. We've upped it to 69 degrees in Nord. We started the day off at 44, so you've watched those numbers jump up about 25 degrees in the last few hours here with the sun-filled skies and low humidity in place. And a good-looking day overall. Mom, Dad, you're home with the kiddos, taking them to the playground. The slide might get hot if it's in the sun, baking on it, but the temperatures should be comfortable with highs running into the upper 70s and low 80s. Away from the coastline, low 70s to mid 70s at the coastline. There is the ramp up in heat. Coolest at the coastline. Beaches likely staying in the 80s over the weekend, but plenty of dry weather will prevail. More of that forecast ahead.
Now at 9, a wild wreck sparking a fire at this triple-decker in Worcester. Police say the fire started after a driver slammed into the building and then took off on foot before police were able to track him down. 7's John Coco was live in Worcester this morning with the very latest. John?
So, Maka, right now, Worcester police are still investigating the crash right here at this apartment behind me. The car has been towed away, but it was sitting right where you see that gap in the bushes there. And if you keep looking up, you can see the burn pattern all the way from the ground to the top of this building. And that's where flames were shooting out late last night.
Flames ripping through the roof of a Worcester apartment late Monday night.
Oh, it was really hot. Right now, we're across the street. I could feel it over here.
The Worcester Fire Department says the car crashed head-on into the building at the corner of Cambridge and Freeland Streets.
Initially, dispatch got a call for a vehicle accident that rapidly changed into a structure fire.
Shocked the building's owner and everyone else living here.
I just literally came out to go sit in the patio in the back, and I heard a big boom, and I come outside, there's a car there.
That's when he says he started to see the fire spread up the side.
The car literally almost blew up. The car almost blew up.
The fire department says the driver of the car took off, but Worcester police caught him not far from the scene. The chief says the material used for siding of the building caused the fire to move so quickly.
This building has what's called gasoline siding, what we call in the fire department gasoline siding. It's asphalt siding underneath the vinyl, so that caused rapid extension up to the soffits. The fire got up into the attic, which precipitated attic collapse,
forcing crews to fight the flames from the outside. Luckily, no one was hurt and everyone got out safely. As for the building, it's easy to see where it was torched.
I feel bad, really bad.
Now, as for the driver that was in that car, we're still working to get more information. Of course, when we do, we'll make sure to bring it right to you. For now, we're live in Worcester. John Coco, 7 News, Today New England.
Also on 7 now, another home going up in flames, this one in Lynn, and witnesses reported that it could have been started by fireworks. Matt Rascone is live in Lynn with the very latest on this story. Matt?
Yeah, Chris, still no confirmation from firefighters this morning, but neighbors, as you said, say they saw people out here outside this home last night playing with Roman candles, one of them shooting up into the balcony, causing this home to go up in flames.
Dramatic moments in Lynn.
It looked like the sky was falling.
As flames ripped through a triple-decker home on Congress Street Monday night.
The whole second floor porch was up in flames. Everything was falling down.
Caroline De La Cruz was on the first floor with her sister in one of 6 apartments in the home. She and others didn't realize the house was on fire until they heard the screams.
Get them all out, get them all out. The house is on fire.
Firefighters got the call at around 8 p.m. and arrived to find heavy fire on the 2nd floor, quickly spreading to the 3rd floor and roof of the building.
So we're just going to be here for a while throwing water at this building because there's a tremendous body of fire up inside there.
A task made even more difficult because firefighters had to pull water from hydrants blocks away. Neighbors say people were playing with fireworks near the home just before it went up in flames.
Bounced off the telephone pole and landed on the 2nd floor balcony. And whatever was there caught on fire and it just went up.
This woman quickly alerted the people living inside and then ran into the smoke-filled home to help rescue animals.
It literally went up in a matter of 2 seconds. I couldn't believe how fast it went up. I can't believe it. To be honest, I feel bad for everybody who lives there.
And here's a look at what is left of this triple-decker home here, all boarded up now, no one allowed inside. And as you can imagine, a lot of belongings destroyed in there. We're told that about a dozen people live inside. Each one of them made it out okay. Live in Lynn, Matt Rascone, 7 News, Today New England.
And this just in, a 15-year-old is seriously hurt after coming into contact with power lines at an Eversource substation in Plymouth. According to Plymouth Fire, the teen was climbing a pole and swinging in the air when he hit the lines and then fell more than 30 feet to the ground. He suffered serious burns and other injuries, but he is conscious and was able to speak when he was taken to the hospital.
Tragic discovery was made in West Boylston, where police are still searching for answers after a couple was found dead in a car. Investigators say the husband and wife were found with gunshot wounds in a parking lot on Hartwell Street on Monday. They say some notes were found in the couple's home. Police also say the victims are in their 70s. They say there is no threat to the public.
More now on the ongoing immigration battle.
The Democrats want to protect illegals coming into this country, some of whom are not good.
President Trump once again taking aim at Democrats over border security at a rally in South Carolina, while not easing up on his administration's zero-tolerance policy. Thousands of undocumented families still stranded at the border, left wondering what might happen next.
The Democrats want open borders. They want anybody they want, including MS-13, pouring into the country.
President Trump firing up a crowd of supporters in South Carolina, calling the outrage over his immigration policy a positive for Republicans, while defending detention facilities across the U.S.-Mexico border.
Our facilities are cleaner, better kept, and better run. That's the one thing I learned, okay? I saw that.
But Democrats, including Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, have toured these facilities and disagree.
I've never seen anything like it. And this is happening in the United States.
More than 2,000 kids are still separated from their parents, even after an executive order signed by the president last week. Senator Warren says she asked the federal agent in charge of the facility during her tour if there was a plan to reunite them.
I asked him who was going to put these families back together, and he said that's not his job, that's not ICE's job. He thinks that Health and Human Services, HHS, will be doing that, but he doesn't know for sure.
And now reports the president may have second-guessed signing the order, but he's insisting he has no regrets.
The executive order was great. It was something that I felt we had to do.
And he doubled down on his call to send immigrants out of the country without ever stepping foot inside a courtroom.
We want a system where when people come in illegally, they have to go out.
But this would violate their right to due process.
You have a right to come and to have your case adjudicated.
Now, the Department of Homeland Security will ask the Pentagon this week to approve plans to potentially house more than 11,000 immigrants at 2 military bases in Texas.
Harley-Davidson is making a major manufacturing move, and it's in part to the Trump administration's trade war that's going on with the European Union. The motorcycle company announcing yesterday that all of its motorcycles that are sold in Europe will now be built in facilities overseas and no longer in the U.S. Harley-Davidson says this is a direct response response to the tariffs that the EU has put on American imports. President Trump back on Twitter this morning writing, "When I had Harley-Davidson officials over to the White House, I chided them about tariffs in other countries like India being too high. Companies are now coming back to America. Harley must know that they won't be able to sell back into U.S. without paying a big tax."
Covering more news today, thousands forced from their homes in California as fast-moving wildfires continue to tear through the northern part of the state, scorching dozens of buildings along the way. Officials say a combination of a drought, unusually hot weather, and high winds are fueling those flames, with rough terrain making it even more difficult. 7's Jennifer Egan is here now with more. Jen?
And Amaka state officials say the fire is only 30% contained at this point, and this is leaving residents wondering when they will be able to return back home.
The Creek Fire breaking out Sunday and quickly spreading to hundreds of acres, forcing many residents living in the area to evacuate and preventing others from getting home.
We were all at Waterworks Park and we heard a bunch of sirens and we saw all the smoke in there, and I said, "Honey, that looks like it's Happy Valley area. We have had a son at home."
Lynette Wilkie was able to get out with her 6 children, but she says she was unable to take her 3 dogs. On Monday, they stayed at a Red Cross evacuation center at a local school.
Their anxieties are high, full of questions, curiosity.
Firefighters worked overnight to get the fire under control and have made some progress, but fire officials say residents need to be patient with them as they work to fully extinguish the fire and make sure it's safe for people to return back home.
We're working to get people back into their homes. There was a lot of people that were evacuated and roads closed. The priority is for their safety.
For Wilkie, she says the uncertainty of not knowing if her home or her pets are safe is the scariest thing right now.
It's very scary for everyone involved.
And fire officials say the cause of that wildfire is considered to be suspicious. Chris, back over to you.
So much more ahead on 7 News Today in New England, including this Braintree dog who's on the road to recovery after some quick thinking from a nearby neighbor.
Sunfilled skies overlooking the city here and overlooking the traffic. Of course, it's a little bit backed up. Unfortunately, a lot of us have to sit in rush hour. Wish we had the day off, right? Forecast ahead.
And if you're heading outside this morning, the traffic will be slow, especially on the Pike. I'll have your full report in a bit.
Now, 7 weather with meteorologist Chris Lambert.
9:14 on this Tuesday morning. Good morning, everyone. Sun-filled skies. Yeah, we have that. And that sunshine's getting to work and warming us up quite nicely. It was a cool start to the day. A lot of the suburbs down into the 40s early this morning, now transitioning into the mid to upper 60s. Want to show you the dew point levels that are in the 40s. Very dry air mass in place for this time of year. So despite it being near the end of June, you get low enough humidity in place and you can still get some cool overnights with clear skies and very little wind. Light winds at that, 6 to 9 miles an hour. And that wind in Boston is going to turn around and become onshore. So we'll keep it a few degrees cooler along the coastline than what we'll see across the interior. How about some snow? Yeah, we can find that. This is Newfoundland. They've had some snow this morning. So if we thought, our cool weather was unusual, at least we're not dealing with that, right? Across New England, we do have sun-filled skies in southern New England and northern New England. So yeah, there was even some towns that were in the 30s this morning across central and northern New England, but all's quiet across the area and all of us warming up nicely as we go throughout the afternoon. A little bit cooler down through the Cape tomorrow, a little bit more of a breeze too. Some mid to high level clouds into the mix. Still a very nice day tomorrow. Our temperatures close to 80 degrees, and then we'll see the surge in humidity and the chance for some storms and showers out there on Thursday. This is going to be it, one and done. This is the highest opportunity to pick up rain over the next several days, and that will continue to be the case Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not expecting any thunder threat despite the heat and humidity building. The atmosphere almost capped. If it's too warm, 10,000 feet up, it's hard to manufacture any storms because you don't get that rising motion. So we're talking about warm air, if not hot air, coming in as we head into the weekend. Possible that we have onshore breezes quite a bit here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even into Monday. And that would hold beach temperatures down into the 80s, which would be just fine, right? If we have beach plans, that's where you go to beat the heat. In the meantime, inland locations likely running in well into the 90s. 74 to 80. 81 this afternoon, coolest at the coastline. And then overnight tonight, we cool off. Beach forecast today looks a little cool, but nice and warm in the sand, right? 70 to 74 temperature-wise. The breeze not as strong as it was yesterday, so more comfortable feel to the air at the ocean's edge than yesterday. It was a little bit warmer. Comfortable overnight tonight, comfortable tomorrow, a little bit on the breezy side there in the afternoon. And then there's the heat that builds heading into the weekend, guys.
All right, time now for Fast Track Traffic on this Tuesday morning. Here's Elena Pinto.
Amaka, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Slow in the typical spots, especially on the Tobin Bridge. Your commute on Route 1 fine in Saugus, but starts to slow down in the Revere-Chelsea area and then basically the rest of the way into Boston. If you're coming in on the Expressway or 93 North, stop and go basically from 128 in. We have a couple of problems. First off, still delays on 495 northbound leading in toward Franklin because of an earlier rollover. That happened right around Route 140. Troubling times on the Pike this morning. We have a couple of delays now. First off, a crash in the Hopkinton area. This is right at 495. The second crash right at Route 9, both in the eastbound lane. So it's going to be slow moving for you pretty much all the way in toward Boston. One last issue in Lexington. This is on 128 southbound right at Route 2. There is a delay leading into that as well. Your drive time at the moment on the Expressway, 35, 25 on the Pike, 33 on 93. If you're taking the commuter trains in, we have a 40-minute delay on the Franklin line. That's train 706. We also have a 15-minute delay on the Green Line.
Beginning July 1st, recreational marijuana will be legal here in Massachusetts, but many stores aren't expected to open their doors right away.
And one family in Sharon hopes to open a budding business and cash in on the cannabis. 7's Justin Doherty has the story.
Brian and Lynn Stryer have set some high hopes when it comes to the Massachusetts marijuana market.
We're producing everything, we're supplying ourselves.
The couple from Sharon is sending the pot enthusiast stereotype up in smoke. Now in their 50s, they've been together since high school. Brian was a real estate developer. Lynn was a stay-at-home mom to their 4 daughters, which explains their company name.
It's really one of the things that's driving us.
And create this legacy for our children.
Joining the company is family friend Stan Rosen. He's 72 years old and has 6 grandkids.
It was not what I was anticipating I would do in my, quote, retirement.
Rosen has made a career out of drugs as a pharmacist, but he's never smoked pot.
No, I've never tried it, and I've certainly had access to it.
The plan is for this office space to be their dispensary, and in the back, stoves and countertops will replace the pallets and racks to become an industrial kitchen.
We hope to prepare cookies and brownies and chocolate bars.
The goal for 4 daughters is to be self-contained, so from the storefront to the kitchen in this building, they also plan to have their own growing facility in the backyard.
The most important piece in the whole industry is the cultivation.
The growing facility will be equipped with an irrigation system, heat lamps, and everything needed to growing marijuana plants.
We have about 17,000 square foot of flowering space.
They first started to look into this budding business when a close family member was diagnosed with a brain tumor about 10 years ago.
It was all about the medical aspects of cannabis that drove us to the business.
A couple years ago, Brian himself was diagnosed with cancer and used marijuana as a treatment.
It started from there and it just snowballed.
When recreational use was approved by voters, the couple decided to go all in on this pot project.
Medical marijuana can help so many people, and now with this adult market, adults can go just get this recreationally like they can go to a liquor store and buy a bottle of wine.
The Stryers say their project in Sharon will cost around $12 million, with most of that money coming from investors, but they expect to make double that amount in annual revenue starting in early 2019. In the newsroom, Justin Doherty, 7 News Today, New England.
And be sure to tune in tonight. Before marijuana is sold, it needs to be tested in order to weed out any bad ingredients. 7's Steve Tellier goes inside a lab, what he found tonight on 7 News at 10.
A major first for the FDA, and it is now giving the green light to a cannabis-based drug. It is called Epidiolex, and the FDA has approved it to treat two types of epileptic seizures. It is a liquid prescribed for patients ages 2 and older. The drug is made of an active cannabis chemical, but it does not produce a high.
It is 9:21 on your Tuesday morning. Coming up here on the news station, a driver cited for this overpacked pickup. Why? Police say he's no stranger to them.
And Sky 7 HD over the scene of a bad crash in Boxford. Why police are saying that the woman behind the wheel could now face charges.